Pranams to His Holiness. I warmly welcome each and every one of you to the grand finale of our World's Breastfeeding Week 2026 series. Greeting to all our esteemed faculties, healthcare professionals, students, alumni, and the viewer joining us live on YouTube. Today marks day 7 of World's Breastfeeding Week 2026. For the past 6 days, our expert doctors from JSS Institute of Naturopathy and Youth Sciences, Coimbatore, have been shared powerful insight on maternal and child health. Each session has created a awareness. Today, on this final day, we will be exploring something truly beautiful and scientific. Oxytocin and the bond between mother and the child. Because breastfeeding is not just about nutrition, it is about love, connection, healing, and the invisible bonding that hormone creates between the mother and her baby. It is my privilege to introduce today's distinguished speaker. We are honored to welcome Dr. Padmashri, DNYS, MSc Psychology, heading the Department of Hydrotherapy, JSS Institute of Naturopathy and Yoga Sciences, Coimbatore. Dr. Padmashri brings with her vast experience in naturopathy, psychological wellness, and healing therapy. She has dedicated her career to holistic care, helping mothers and family healing naturally, mind and body, both mind and body. Today, she will be helping us understand how oxytocin, the love hormone, strengthens the emotional bonding, supports breastfeeding, and promotes healing for both mother and child. I'm sure this session will leave you inspired and deeply connected to the true sense of motherhood. Let us all please join me in giving a big virtual round of applause to Dr. Padmashri. We welcome you, ma'am. The platform is yours. Over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to discuss about the chemistry of connection between the mother and the infant, neurobiology of mother infant bonding for the biological blueprints, and how it magically happens immediately after the birth. A very good morning to everyone. Before I begin this session, I would like to begin the session with a question. Uh, have you ever wondered why baby is immediately becoming calm when the mother hugs it? And why just holding someone's hand can reduce the fear or stress? Have you ever wondered about this? This is not just the magic, this is the science. And this is the neurobiological thing that is happening inside the body. And that is what we are going to decode now. Yes, as a BNY students and BNY as faculty physician, we should definitely know the background, what is happening, how this magic is happening behind these sciences, and how this touch heals, and why yoga and meditation helps in improving the emotional health, and why stress affects the relationship. These are the basic things that we are going to discuss today. And imagine a newborn baby is crying loudly. When the mother grabs the baby without doing anything, without giving any medication, suddenly the baby stops crying and becomes calm. The answer is not just the magic, it is the neurobiological changes that is happening. That is the major thing that we are going to discuss today. Yes, this slide you can see how look at the two positions of these slides, and the left side of the slide says that immediate emotional connection of the birth is an universal guarantee, and the society believes it is a magic when the mother immediately born of the baby, when the mother carries the baby, automatically the love booms up. So this is what the left side of the slide says, but it is not actual truth. You can see the right side of the slide, which reveals the science, the system behind what is happening between the baby and the mom immediately after the birth. So the mother will be very tired, stressful after the delivery. Okay, the bonding is a complex physiological system. It builds over the time and highly susceptible for the external and internal disruption. So what happens? The baby has to stay with the mother. So immediately after crossing all the traumatic situations, all the traumatic feel the mother has gone through the pregnancy, the brain will support the mother's production of this oxytocin, which helps in fighting against the patients, against the system, that the baby can connect automatically with the mother because of this production of hormone. So the bonding is not just automatic, it is the beautiful biological process that grows with the love, touch, time, and care. So we are going to see in detail about the action of oxytocin. Oxytocin acts as both the hormone and neurotransmitter. That is the major thing that happens in the body, which is wonderfully happen. It acts as both hormone and it also acts as neurotransmitter. Right from the pregnancy, it starts production. So the manufacturing of the hypothalamus and the release from the pituitary gland, this module is controlling the mechanism of the body. Now let's meet the main hero of the lecture today, that is oxytocin. So this oxytocin is often called as the love hormone. Okay, so the oxytocin helps in both the body and mind. So during the labor and the delivery time, it delivers the uterine contraction, so that supports the mother to push the baby out from the uterus. So during the nourishing time, it triggers the milk ejection reflex during the lactation. Okay, so after the birth of the baby starts sucking. So once the baby is getting contact with the patient, with the mother, so automatically the milk production will be there. Coming to parenting, so every adult is not being a parent, so that will be the very first time they'll be experiencing that the parenting would this stimulate the affection, this give the affection towards the baby from the mothers, from wholeheartedly. The touch, that gaze, the physiological synchronizes the both bonding with the mother and the child. So the brain chemistry, how does this acts in the brain? So that attachment, that trust, that creates for the baby and the mother, and the social recognition, that this can happen. The parenting encourages the both mother and father for the feel of love, trust, safety, emotional sensation. So this is very simple hormone that acts on every way. And coming to the hormone, love hormone variation, that is central oxytocin, and second one is peripheral oxytocin. So this central oxytocin, in many ways, many people think that oxytocin is only one thing that actually happens, do the different roles. This central is actually happening inside the body, inside the brain, how it accesses the cerebrospinal fluid, how it is giving correlation with the plasma level, how it is combating inside the brain. And coming to the peripheral oxytocin, this peripheral oxytocin has happening in the bloodstream. The posterior pituitary is directly diverted into the bloodstream, and it stimulates the uterine contraction that helps in delivery, and mammary gland that helps in milk ejection. And throughout this plasma, blood plasma, and the urinary contraction, this peripheral oxytocin will be helpful. So these two will be acting on the inside and outside. So in central oxytocin is called as neurotransmitter, and the peripheral oxytocin is called as the hormone that helps to travel through in the blood and helps in the childbirth and also in the breastfeeding. Coming to the next slide, so this says about the this uh, how this body releases the oxytocin, and where does it come, and how does it act when it gets to the skin to skin contact. Okay, how does the body release the oxytocin? That is the very big question. Now we know that oxytocin does, but an important question is, how does the body releases it? But the answer is, the body receives the touch. When the body gets the touch from the baby, when the baby is trying to suck through the breast, so automatically what happens? This sends the signal through the neurotransmitter to the brain. Okay, so brain automatically started secreting this oxytocin. So the rush of oxytocin will be there in the brain. Because of that, helps in ejecting the blood from milk from the breast. So let us see, like during the breastfeeding, okay, the sensory nerves in the nipple that triggers the milk ejection from the nipples. Okay, so coming to the infant oral mucosa. So coming to the this tactiles the sensation in the infant's mouth. So that helps in improving the suction of the milk. Next is skin to skin. This is very important thing, that the warmth and the light pressure activate the somatic sensory nerves. So when the baby is getting, when the mother is holding the baby tightly with the warmth in the gentle touch, that sends the signal to the brain, and it sends the oxytocin, and that helps in ejection of milk. When the baby drinks the milk, when the milk releases from reaches the baby's stomach, it signals the travel to the nerves to the brain. That helps the baby to feel relaxed, comfortable, and makes the baby to feel safe. So this is how the step-by-step process that happens when the oxytocin is released. That is step 1, trigger. So the sensory input, the suction and the skin to skin touch will be happen, that activates the peripheral nerve. And the step 2, that relays, that the vagal sensory nerve fibers gives the signals to the brainstem. And step 3, the factory, that NTS signals the hypothalamus, that oxytocin is released, and this is the time to produce more milk and eject the milk. And step 3 is the dual flood. The oxytocin is released systematically into the bloodstream and the central into the brain, and that helps in psychological bonding for the patients. So this is like when somebody ring the doorbell, so immediately we'll go and open the door. Okay, so same way, this trigger is a bell. Okay, when it gets contact with the baby's, when the mother's body is getting contact with the skin of baby, immediately it gives the signal to the brain. So it should open automatically. It will open from the brain and started secreting the oxytocin, where it helps in improving the production of milk. So next is biological rhythm. So this biological rhythm of caregiving. So immediately oxytocin is secreted. So this milk production will be a continuous flow. No, it is not a continuous flow. You can see in the graph. You can see in the first graph that says for a minute how much the milk is getting higher and how much the milk is getting lower. For every second it will be going up and down. Actually, it is a waving thing. So the milk will not continuously flow from the breast, and continuously the baby will not get the milk. If the baby is feeding for the 1 hour of time, so the baby will not continuously getting the milk. For 1 minute it will be higher, for second 2 3 minutes it will be lower, and again for the fourth minute it will be higher, and fifth minute it will be lower. So this is the wave. It will be the small waves. When the mother is getting overwhelmed, when the mother is getting so much of love from the family, so much of love from the society, immediately the mother will feel more level of oxytocin, and the level of production of milk will also be higher. That is the rate of flow of milk that you can see in the right side of the slide. So this oxytocin is released in the rhythmic pulse, okay, into the stream. So for every minute it will be changing. It is actually the waves, it is not the continuous thing. So when it is like when we switch on, when the oxytocin is on, the milk will be coming. So oxytocin is off, automatically the milk production will be lower. So this is how the rhythm will be. And the baby, when it is continuously sucking, the baby takes the time to suck and drink the milk. So during that time it will be lower. Again, when the baby is sucking, again the milk production will be higher. This is the small wave. You should not think that it is a continuous wave that will help. So this coming to the very important part of this today's topic, that is skin to skin contact changes the delivery mechanism. So I hope that most of you might have gone through the viral video, like the baby will be crying so much immediately after the birth. Just they'll put in the breast over the breast of the mother. The baby will immediately stop crying. So many viral videos have been there in internet. You might have seen. That is how the mechanism will be there. So immediately after the birth, so the mother's oxytocin level will be rushing like a ocean. Okay, so immediately the level of oxytocin will be higher because of the birth of the baby. So the baby will feel the skin temperature. It lowers the infant's cortisol level. It reduces the tension and stress for the baby, and the pain threshold and the stress of both mother and the baby will be reduced because of the release of oxytocin that you can see in the picture. So the breastfeeding mechanism, how it happens. So short pulse in the ejection of milk. So every mother is equally having this production of oxytocin, and every mother can give breast milk immediately after the birth because of this production. So the sensory nerve responds to the warmth and the light pressure, and it triggers long protracted oxytocin that primes the brain. This every activity during the skin to skin mechanism is happening in the brain. So the mother feels calmer, the baby feels more safer, relaxed. So this is how it helps. So the breastfeeding is not like a fast charging in a short time. This skin to skin contacts take a little bit of time, maybe a longer time, that takes longer time to get calm, get relaxed, reducing the stress. Like now I want to ask you a question. So, who do you develop a strong bond with the baby? And for this question, every people will say that automatically after immediate birth of the baby, they'll get attached to the mother. And here I have the answer for that. So it is an engine that the mother infant binding. So it is like a cycle. That is how it acts. When the skin to skin contact happens, that gives warmth, that gives trigger, that activates the vagal nerves, that gives the relay for the NTS and sun, and that gives the signal to the central oxytocin release, and that helps in decreasing the cortisol and increasing the skin temperature, and that heightens the social approach of the behavior. Again, once the baby is getting this skin to skin contact, automatically this engine will be going in the cycle because of the bodies change immediately after the delivery. So this will be a loop. This will be a psychological feedback loop. Every time the baby is getting skin to skin contact with the mother, this activation will be there, this production will be there, this ejection will be there, or all these thing will be happen in the loop. So if we have a question that vaginal birth will have the more initial baseline, or the C-section mother will be having the elicitive, will be little bit lesser, but the rush of oxytocin will be equal for all C-section mothers and for all vaginal birth mothers. And coming to the bond, so everybody will think that this oxytocin rush will be there only for mother. So you can clearly see this picture when the baby is having the biological mother, the father, and the adaptive mother. This oxytocin rush will be equally there for all people. Even with father, when the baby is getting attached so much, when the father is giving more attention to the baby, over the baby, and the powerful oxytocin surges entirely throughout the interaction, and the neurochemical system is remarkably adapted, and the prioritizing the act overall for the caregivers, for the mothers, and for the fathers. So when interacting, you can see the chemical bond which happens between those people. So this chemical bond says that, which means anyone who is consistently carrying the baby, consistently having the touch, consistently having the comfort with the baby, talking continuously with the baby, spending more time with the baby, will have the strong emotional bond for the baby. So that is why when the baby is spending more time with the grandparents or any relative, with the uncle or auntie, anyone with the baby will get immediately attached, because of this rush of oxytocin will happen equally same as mother. Whereas the mother will be having higher level, because from the pregnancy, the mother will be having this process. This is not the process immediately after the delivering baby. This is the process starting from the first trimester. So the biological mother will be having sorry, higher surge of this oxytocin, and coming after the birth, the baby will be equally having this surge with the father, and also with the adaptive mother, caretaker, or anyone closer to the. So this foster mother, this adaptive mother, or anyone who takes care of the baby, this will trigger when they are having more cuddling interaction, more physically close, when they hug the baby, that gives a behavioral delight, and the brain waves will respond for that. So automatically they'll get this secretion, and they'll get closer, more closer with the baby. So that enhances. Same way for the father, when they are playing more, this stimulate the parenting thing, and the automatically the father will get the caring, protective nature for the baby. So uh, coming to the bonding, that is behavioral manifestation, cognitive shift, and the baseline profile for the baby. So here we can see that the bonding is not created in the pregnancy, and how it starts from the first trimester, and the bonding, how this triage of maternal cognition is happening. This elevated oxytocin is correlated heavily with the differentiation, that is neurological and oxidative capacity to view the fetus as an individual thing. So first from the first trimester, so the baseline profile will be there. So based on the longitudinal data, the healthy pregnant females will have this production rising in hormone profile right from the first trimester, that scores the higher on maternal and fetal attachment scale. Coming to the third trimester, that elicit this oxytocin level and correlate with the differentiation in the neurological and cognitive capacity. And right after the birth, there will be certain oxytocin level correlation and the maternal behavior intensive that promotes the infant monitoring. So every mother will be having the instinct what the baby will be doing even when they are sleeping. This is how the behavior manifestation will be happening right after the birth. After the 1 month, the postpartum, during that time, even this same maternal cognition will be there. And the study says that we will say more things based on the seeing patients, seeing all mothers and babies. So through the research that they have confirmed that when the oxytocin is developing through the touch, so the researchers tracked this oxytocin. They said they collected the oxytocin level in before like via this urine sample they have collected from the baseline. Okay, so baseline they have collected, and after 30 minutes cuddling with the mother, environment closeness, they gave the calm environment for the baby, and cuddling, playing with the baby, talking with the baby, singing songs for the baby. After spending for the 30 minutes, again they collected this play interaction, so that the level of oxytocin immediately after the cuddle, after spending time with the baby, results higher expression and behavior delight when the smiling, praising, joyful affection is happening. So automatically the bonding was more for the patient. moral for the mother after the cuddling. So that clearly says that the baby will get more comfort after interacting, after cuddling, after touching the baby. So this study clearly says that the oxytocin level normally will secrete when they cuddle and touch the baby more. It even more increases after playing for the 30 minutes. So the oxytocin alters the electrical brain stimulator response. So the brain wave is the electrical signals that linked in motivating the attention and the brain demographic reward system. Okay, every time when it gets an infant target, every time when it gets and response, so the mother will be producing more oxytocin after cuddling. It is not like right after the birth. So every time when the mother is getting connected with the baby, the level of oxytocin will be continuously higher. So the higher doesn't change how the caregiver feels, how it change how the brain what electrically prioritize and rewards the baby stimulus. But every time when there is a touch, when there is a connection with the baby, this level of oxytocin will be remains higher. So that is how it acts on the brain. And coming to the caregiver brains. So what happens to the caregiver brain? So there is an analog. Think about the new plant. Okay, new plant. A seed. Okay, so when anybody who is watering the plant, it will grow nicely. That is how the baby will see. Constantly for the first 1 or 2 months, they'll be having the warm temperature with the mother. So right after that, whoever is taking care of that baby, they will get more connected over the baby. So through the caregiver's brain, so they physically learn through the illustrate and chemically locked on the bonding with the patient. So first 1 and 2 months, this oxytocin correlation with the infant's face, the brain finds the babies rewarding and priming the caregiver for the general alloparental care. Whereas in third month, after the third month, the relationship will be established with the high oxytocin correlation that peaks only in specific infant's face. Okay, every time when they see one particular face, the level of oxytocin will be higher for the caretaker. That is how it happens. If you're seeing continuously through the to that one new plant and you're continuously watering to that plant and the plant automatically get connected with you. Same like that, the baby will get connected to the caregiver every time when they get attached for the attached to the caregiver. And coming to the inert signaling and infant chemistry. So inert signaling is the automatic signal of if the infant is having any dangerous situation, if the infant is suddenly waking up from the sleep. So this programmed care will be there in the brain of caregiver. So here I'm telling the caregiver both as biological parents and also adaptive parents who is completely with the baby. So they will get this inert signal even when when they are not in conscious, even when they are in sleeping position, when they are doing some other work. They'll be having continuous care for the baby, whether the baby is safe or not. If the baby is having any sudden fear, or if the baby is crying for something, immediately they'll get this attachment. So they'll receive the signal that the baby is danger, we have to go and take care of the baby. So same way the infant will also have the chemical changes when the parent provides the sensitive care. When they have the continuous touch and the care, they will receive this central oxytocin level. As I said previously, this central oxytocin changes will be there inside the brain. So the fetus the infant's brain will also start secreting the oxytocin level when they are getting closer with the mother. So the research says that the elevation of infant oxytocin reduces the stress response, and that leads to calming the behavior, and more attachment signals will be there between the caregiver and the infants. So this becomes the loop. So infant displays the attachment behavior and calmness, and the caregiver's oxytocin will be higher and same way the caregiver receives the attachment for the clues. Again the caregiver feels the behavior delight and provides more care. So when they are giving more care, again the infant's oxytocin will be increased. So this is a loop that continuously giving the self reinforcement, that the biochemical feedback loop is universal across the mammalian species. For every animal this loop will be there. So the caregiver gives the more attachment towards the infant, and the infant's oxytocin will be rising. Because infant's oxytocin is rising, the caregiver's oxytocin will be rising. This is the infinite loop. And coming to the caregivers leaving the lifelong epigenetic echo. So the cellular impact will be there. So the infant who receives high level of tactile stimulation and the care and develops more cortisol receptors in the hippocampus, the same way the lifelong results will be there. So the DNA granting the infants highly efficient and well regulated stress response for the rest of their life. This will be there inside the, as I told that the central oxytocin is working in the brain. This axis will be there in the brain for the lifelong process. And the non genomic transmission. So the loved, well cared for the infants and growing into the high oxytocin adults who naturally pass this high quality parenting on their own children, and the behavior writes the code for the next generation. Whatever they are receiving, this cellular changes impact will be there in the brain. Because of that DNA myelination, this changes will be registered in the brain, and that will reflect in the next generation transmission also. Whatever the love, the care they have received for their because of the behavior of the parent, that they will transmit to the next generation. That is epigenetic echo. So coming to the architecture of the human connection, how this connection happening between the mother, infant and the bond. So this happens mainly of three pillars, that is biological, and second one is behavioral, and third is generational. So the biologically, the oxytocin derives the physiological mechanism like birth, feeding, lying, getting closer with the baby, interacting, that is biological. And second one is behavioral, when touching, gazing, seeing the baby for a long time, playing with the baby, that builds the profound and chemical bond for the parent, adaptive mother. And third one is generational. So the infant's brain physically wires its stress. So based on the entirely on the care which is received, how much the baby is getting care received from the caretaker, that gives the reflection based on the generational. So based on these three architectural connection, that will helps in reflecting the mother infant bonding, that never been an instant at that is never be a magical event, that is not a dynamic, it is a neurochemical changes happening because of these three pillars. And coming to the support system, so this is very important thing that we have to know, because as a doctors, as a BNYS physician, we should know about the supporting system that is already existing, that helps for the mothers who are having postpartum depression, who are having postpartum anxiety, who are having stress, mood swings after the birth. So this oxytocin rush will be actually there for all the mothers, but there will be some error or some changes will be there. Some mothers will not get the attachment. So here we should talk as a system. So here as a system we failed to get the bonding, because as a system we have to support the mother's mental health, so which was given as a least important nowadays. So this support system, there is a QR code in the slide. So this QR code you can scan and get the support from the international support system that helps in the postpartum depressive mothers. So if they are having any postpartum depression, if they are having any anxiety disorder, previously, before the pregnancy or during the pregnancy or during the delivery, if the parent is having any anxiety disorder, there will be some lack of oxytocin production. There will be some lack of connecting baby and mother bonding. There is, as a naturopathy physician, you should consult the patient. You should calm down the patient. That is nothing wrong if you are not getting the bond immediately after the birth. There can be changes because of other some hormones that may stop this bonding, but that is not a permanent thing. If we are helping the parents struggling, who are having this mood disorder, who are having this anxiety disorder, there is a helpline. They provide a directory. They will monitor, they will mentor the parents how they should calm down the mind, how they should handle the baby. So automatically their anxiety level will be lower and the oxytocin level will be higher. They'll get bond with the baby later after the birth also. And one more clinical study, epigenetics axis is also there. So there's this adaptive mother study. So this is a Frontiers review paper that says that the further academic review. So if you want to more, if you want to check more review studies, you can scan the QR code and check the further papers regarding this clinical interactive for the future practices. So I'm going to conclude this session. So I'm concluding this mainly with three things. So wherever the mother gets failed to get attached with the baby, there we have to give the support. The support should not be separating the mother and baby and giving medication or giving the baby in the NICU and giving the overcare for the baby. It is actually not working. So here we have to take care of the baby, more importantly the mother also. So here I'll say the okay, abstractive, that neonatology that protects the baseline. So minimize the unnecessary medical interruption that spontaneously releases the oxytocin. That means there is no medicine is required for the production of oxytocin. Every mother will naturally get this oxytocin level when they get skin to skin contact. As a physician, we should suggest that the mother requires skin to skin contact and she doesn't need any medication immediately after the delivery. Once she's getting the skin to skin contact post delivery, this jumps the vagal NTS and that starts the bonding loop, which I said previously. And coming to pediatric, so the biological retardness is not the prerequisite for the neurobiological attachments. So educate the adaptive mother and the father that they will have this tactile interaction, cuddling and playing will support the patient, will support the mother to get more attachment with the baby, that that the baby will not only get the attachment with the mother, there is equal and same attachment will be there for father and with caretaker also. Coming to the psychiatry, this recognize the impairment, that is maternal bonding, that postpartum depression has profound neuroendocrinological basis, that behavior delights and motivate attention or hard biological metrics, just the physiological construction. So that helps in promoting the understanding of uh, understanding of mother before we judge the mother, that they are not getting bonding, they are not getting attachment, they are not good mother. So nothing like that. Everybody will be there if we write them properly, if we treat them properly, they will get equal effect as a normal mother. So the future doctors, as a future physician, everybody should know the most powerful medicine that is not prescribed in the papers, that is the words that we give for the patient. So every gentle hug, so every gentle touch, the every moment with the eye contact, so every act of kindness will help in helping the promotion of this hormones, and everything will help in the future medicine. And they actually not getting bonding because of they fail to be a mother or fail to be a child. That is because of the system. As a system, we should help in uh, telling the patient, telling them that this touch, and love will change everything. So the future of medicine is not just the curing disease. It is how we protect the human, how we protect the mind of the patients. So that is how it helps. And the science gives us evidence. Compassion gives it meaning. Let us both create the healthier, happier, and more healthy human beings for the world. Thank you so much for the session.
A heartfelt thank you, Dr. Padmashri, for delivering such a beautiful and meaningful session today. So, Doctor, you have explained the real bond between the mother and the baby in such a touching way. You took us step by step through the wonderful mechanism of the body. So, how hormones are secreted, the nursing works, and the biological rhythm that nature has created within us. It is a truly great session. You showed us that behind this emotional bonding is a powerful science, and that is very becomes a source of stress relieving and healing for the both mother and the child. The most important message you gave us today is that all of us have a role, the doctor, the friend, family, and the entire community, to make a mother feel comfortable, supported, and stress free. So, because when a mother is supported, there is a good milk production, and that the milk becomes the great immunity for the child's entire life. So, thank you, doctor, for making this session so insightful, scientific, and emotionally uplifting. Thank you. Dear viewers, today we have come to a final day of World's Breastfeeding Week 2026. Thank you thank you to each one of you for bringing with us all these 7 days. Your presence has made this week truly meaningful and created a real impact for new mothers and the family. So, JSS Institute of Naturopathy and Yoga Sciences Coimbatore will continue bringing you more health awareness session in the upcoming months. We look forward to seeing you again. I sincerely thank our honorable management and our respected principal for giving us this wonderful opportunity to conduct this health talks for all these health seekers. Thank you once again to our speaker, to our viewers, and to the entire JSS family. We will meet you soon. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.